Hi guys, welcome to Total Carping. You unfortunately haven't seen us in a while. Me and Josh have been really busy at work. However, I'm here today on the syndicate fishing a little bay called Don's Corner. Really productive corner, a lot of fish do come out of here. Had some decent fish out of here this time last year. We've had a really mild autumn up until now, but the cold's just started to set in, which may knock the fishing on the head, but we'll wait and see. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll have a few, and I'll see you shortly. This is Don's Corner. This is the little bay that I mentioned that I was fishing. Basically what we've got is obviously a nice little snaggy tree line just behind me, which just screams part to me, with the main snag being a sunken willow, and it's roughly about 6 or 7 foot, which is the deepest point on this lake. So that's definitely going to hold them at this time of year. We've got an overcast day today, so they're definitely going to be in there. It is a bit of a tricky cast, I have to admit. It's not far away, it's just been you've got to be spot on to get a bite out of there. If you're even 1 or 2 foot off it, you won't get a bite. You've really got to get it in there. The second rod, which is my right hand rod, is out to an island that's about 20 yards, and I'll just quickly show you that now. Right guys, as you can see, that's the island behind me that I mentioned I was fishing to. Probably about 20-30 yards out. I've just got a bait right on the corner of the island. Seems to be very productive for me. Nice easy chuck as well. But having said that, it seems to be a 1-2 metre radius around that island that you can only pick up a bite from. I know it's gravel around there, and it seems into the silt about 2 metres off, so if you can get it about 2 metres, it's perfect. I wouldn't go too tight, obviously you might be sitting on some debris or something like that, but yeah, that's definitely a spot on this lake that most of the fish come off. Right guys, I thought I'd just quickly show you my solid bag rig. You've probably seen it before, but I'm using something slightly different this time. Instead of the fluorocarbon leaders that I was using at Top of Manor, I've just gone with a standard leg core leader, probably 2 or 3 foot, nothing too long. Straight down onto an Avid, it's a specially designed lead for solid bagging. Really low profile, flat. It sits nice and upright when you put it in the bag. That makes it a lot easier. It's nothing worse than when you put the lead in the bag, it's all topping over. It seems to stay upright for some reason. Down to probably a 4-inch hook link, something like that. Size 10 curve, barbless, onto a tiny 12mm spicy fruit individual baits pop up. Nice and buoyant, stayed buoyant for ages. Nice colour and lovely smell, of course. Just for a little shot on the hair, fish KD style. I always fish buoyant baits in solid bags, because what that does is it always makes the hook bait nestle its way up to the top, sort of breaks all the pellet apart, sits on the top of the pile of bait that you've got there. And what I'll do now is I'll quickly show you how I tie that up. Right guys, so here's the finished item. Basically, there's my solid bag. What I've done is I've filled it with some crushed pellet, normal mixed size pellet, and some crushed pina colada steamies. As you can probably see the yellow sort of layer in there, along with my spicy fruit pop up. Basically what I do is I get a bag out the packet, fill it with, to start at the bottom, fill it with pellet. Then when it's about a third of the way up, put the lead in. Then I put some of the crushed up pina colada steamies for another sort of halfway, till about halfway. Then fill it for the rest of the way up with pellet. Then I put the hook link in about halfway up through the pellet, sorry. I forgot to mention that, but yeah. Then I pack it down nice and tight, I cut the corners off till the air rushes in, and that will make it even more tighter. And then I always tie the top off with PVA tape, because you don't want the bag to fly off if you really give it one. Regardless of how far I'm casting, I always tie it off with some PVA tape. As I said, cut the corners off and puncture the bag. Make sure you puncture it at least 10 times, because you don't want it to float. So yeah, just going to whack it out there now, hopefully we'll have it. Right, I thought I'd just talk you through some of the rigs that I'm going to be using this winter. Basically what they're going to be doing is incorporating small pop-ups. basically I've got spicy fruit and I've got some tooties here. Brilliant baits, obviously the bait is absolutely spot on, can't fault it. And the same goes for the pop-ups as well. What I'm going to do is, these ones are all actually the same flavour, but they're just different colours. That can really make a difference somewhere like Fort Blee, Brasenose, anywhere like that. Anywhere where a little change in colour can mean a difference between 4 bites and 25 bites. So yeah, they're all 12 millers. Keep everything small in the winter. I'm going to definitely fish the solid bags hard this winter. I didn't fish them last winter. I'm going to really give them a go. So that's going to be one rig. On the other rods, I'm going to fish slightly bigger pop-ups on either a choddy hinge diff rig or probably just a standard pop-up rig. But definitely going to be all fished on helicopters. Not going to use leg clips this winter. Definitely going to be on helicopters. I think they fish better on a choddy bottom. And after all, the choddy evolved from the helicopter rig, so it is basically the best rig to use on a silty bottom. So yeah, there's a few tips for you. Change your colour if it's not working. Get yourself some of these pop-ups, they're absolutely spot on. So yeah, there you go. Right guys, I mentioned about being on the back of the wind. As you can see, the wind's hacking down that direction. To be honest, it's not a freezing cold wind, however it's not warm though. So very confusing, I don't really know what to do. As you can see, this is the corner that I mentioned earlier, Don's corner. I talked about that snaggy tree line. It's definitely going to hold fish, and that's where my solid bag is right now. Just in the process of putting my helicopter on the corner of that island. But yeah, I don't know whether that wind might have pushed them down. Wouldn't have thought so. There's too many fish in here for them all to follow it. Some resident fish have definitely got to be down in this corner, and as I said, I had that show earlier over there. I've got a feeling what they'd do is patrol along that tree line, get to about there and then go on the island. It's like a little track for them. But yeah, there you go. Right guys, that looks like about it for today. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to catch one. Don't really know the reason why. The only thing I can think of is I'm not in the right place, which is a bit of a shame. I would have thought that this corner would produce, considering it's on the back of the wind. I know the rig and the baits work. It's just a case of being in the right place. To be honest, I wouldn't have known where to go anyway, because this is the corner I always rely on at this time of year. Could be that this sudden cold spell has just switched them off, but we'll never know. And that's part of carp fishing. At the end of the day, you can't expect to go and catch every session you go on, although it's nice to. So yeah, anyway, we'll probably be doing another episode on Saturday, which is in a couple of days' time. So I guess we'll see you then.